YouTube? Hope everyone's staying safe. It's your boy back with you, just getting off of the job. You know how it goes. Luckily, I'm considered an essential employee. You know how I go. You know how I roll.
You know what time it is.
Anyway, I wanted to talk on the subject of UFC and the news break.
In the Jon Jones.
UFC light heavyweight champion
arrested
again for allegedly peeling off some rounds. And a gun. Not sure what size gun or what caliber, or how many shots were fired, if they were, as well as sitting in his car
while he was drunk,
or had been drinking, let's just call it intoxicated. He would have blown something or did blow something. As far as whether they did a breathalyzer or blood work, I'm not sure. But he was arrested and apprehended and taken to jail. Many questions are going to arise from this, like what is Dana White going to do? What is this going to mean for Jon Jones and his past history? And how is this going to affect this case going forward, given his record of multiple arrests and run-ins with the law? Because a lot of people who don't know or who haven't been through the court system, when you have a past record, that is a huge play in the resulting case of, let me reword that. That is a huge benefactor in the probability of a pending case turning out in your favor, or just what stipulations may be applied to the ruling. Now, the other thing with this is also that it's he's a multiple. I don't think he's habitual yet. I think that's 3 or more. But when you commit a crime of similar stature more than, I think, 3 times, you're considered habitual. And I know he's had problems in the past with substance and alcohol. So I believe with that charge, let's just say all the charges stick. With that charge, I think he's going to get it knocked down to probably attending counseling, community service, probably defensive driving classes, and possibly suspension of his license for a period of time. Now, as far as a gun, that's not good, especially if he is not licensed to carry. Shooting a gun off within city limits is just, that's a huge no-no. And I'm kind of assuming it was within city limits in the town of Albuquerque, but I'm not quite sure how Albuquerque is set up. He very may well live out in the country, but the problem is, I think it did mention the intersecting streets of which he was found and accused of shooting these rounds off. So that kind of tells me that it was probably within or close to a city, and that's going to pose a huge risk, because I mean, those bullets got to come down at some point, unless he was just pointing straight at the ground. But you know, just the minute you pop off a round and it's proven against you and you're within city limits, you're probably looking at time, regardless of having a past record or not. So whether his stature and life being the heavyweight champion, or light heavyweight champion, and just him being out in the media and being a celebrity, essentially, how will that play a factor in the ruling of his case? And every judge is different, so that's going to be another factor as well. Will they settle in or out of court? I don't think so. I think this one's going to go all the way, and he's going to definitely feel the stresses of court in this case. that's another thing I want to speak on. When you are involved in a court case, that affects you emotionally, physically, mentally, in every which way. You know, the waiting, because you're looking at, when you have a case, probably at least at the bare minimum for a case to settle. I mean, you're looking at least 3 months. So that's a quarter of your year. You don't know what's going to be happening to you in your life going forward. And for a UFC fighter, it could be a scary thought for sure, because that's your livelihood. But luckily, fighting is one of those things that if he's not banned, as I get to the Dana White side of things, if he's not banned for the UFC for any amount of time, or he is, you know, that's what Jon Jones has done for so long now. I mean, and I'm sure the lifestyle he lives, a regular 9 to 5 isn't going to cut it. So hopefully he's got some money in the bank, and I'm sure he does. He's very well off. He probably has generational wealth because he is a household name. And once your name gets so far, you're not only making money off your sport that you're in, or not, it doesn't even have to be a sport, but you're making money off your name, you know, sponsorships, advertisements, stuff like that, merch, all kinds of things. You get a percentage of so many things. Residual income, I think is what they call that. But I guarantee you, if he quit fighting, he'd still be making plenty of income to live a good life. I'm not saying it could support the life he currently is living, but not to get too far off topic. Let's kind of talk about the whole Dana White side of things. You know, do you think he's gonna? When I saw the interview break with Dana White, you could tell Dana White's disgusted and flabbergasted that this is now a reoccurring dream, pretty much. But there was a sense of me that noticed Dana kind of showing his loyalty to his fighters, saying, or at least his champion fighters, someone like Jon Jones, who brings in the money sales or the ticket sales and the exposure for the sport. All in all, any press with Jon Jones, good or bad, is good. So when you have an athlete like that, you look at him like an asset and an investment. So I think Dana, back to what I was saying, the vibe and the energy I was getting from the interview is, yes, he was flabbergasted and disappointed, you know, like a father in a way. He wasn't angry. Wasn't angry. I'm sure there's a piece of him that's like, yeah, damn it, you know, here we are again. And it's outside of fighting. I think he feels for him as a human as well. He's wondering, okay, this is many a times now. What do we need to do to help this situation to where it doesn't happen again in the future? But we've said this many a times now with the name Jon Jones. So I think he's frustrated. See, I'm rambling on again. But back to the point again with Dana White. I think I was getting the vibe that, you know, the UFC will work with it and do what they can to get him back in the ring as soon as possible, regardless of the outcome of the case. They got his back, you know, kind of like that La Casa Nostra blood oath type relationship. But yeah, just a very interesting situation. I almost, you know, I was hoping to God it was clickbait, you know, for his sake, because I am a fan of the sport overall. Even if I don't like a fighter per se, I respect what they're doing, and I think we all owe it to the fighters to have that type of respect for the sport and the athletes, because they're going out there and they're literally risking their life and putting their life on the line for our entertainment as fans, or, you know, other athletes. So they're really, like I said, they're putting their life on the line. They take a lot of damage over the years. So that's another interesting point, that, you know, Jon Jones may have been born with this curve to go through these rough times, but at the same time, the damage fighting has on a fighter and the longevity of things, could this be an underlying issue that's deeper than rap, you know? So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Hope you guys find it interesting, and I'd like to hear about it down in the comments section. Make sure you smash that like button like you're throwing a fucking uppercut. Make sure you fucking jab that goddamn subscription. And yeah, hope you guys are having a good day. Stay safe. You know, in areas where it's not safer to social distance, in cities like New York, sorry to get off topic here. If you have the ability to in congested cities, my theory is you should actually vacate, because living on top of each other and being right next to each other in a city like New York, if you get what I'm saying, how stacked on top of each other it is, I don't think is a solution to this coronavirus going away. It's just too dense of a city. So if you can, make your way out of there, because Gino said so. And Gino also said make sure you smash that like button, hit that bell, and subscribe. Till next time, I love you all. Stay safe, stay gangster, and stay pretty. Holler.